I'd like to start with just saying that, this isn't the first time we've seen this happen to Afghan refugees in Pakistan. It's a cyclical thing. In 2016, we saw almost the same numbers we're seeing now. People coerced to leave for Afghanistan by many of the same means we're seeing now. Now it looks like the numbers may go much higher. And I'm very careful here not to say returned to Afghanistan, because in many cases, well, that's true for some, many cases, the people being forced to leave include Afghans that were actually born in Pakistan, who've lived their entire lives there, who built their lives there, and are now being coerced to leave through a whole range of abuses, detentions, seizures of the property, beatings, and so on. And if you look at the figures that come out from the updates from IOM and UNHCR, something like 90% report that fear of detention is the reason they're leaving. And of course, once that begins, then others feel the same fear, and you end up with this an exodus of people who are then leaving for as Abu Sarraj pointed out, in a country where the economic situation is already in crisis. People arriving and are not able to take much money or property with them because of the way the Pakistani authorities prevent that. And so then arrive destitute and in a situation where already there aren't jobs, there aren't ways for people to make much of an income, going to villages where maybe they originated many, many years ago, but have very little. So we're adding to an already very catastrophic humanitarian situation in Afghanistan. Not to mention, of course, as already been said, those leaving for Afghanistan include families with girls who may have been in school in Pakistan who now will not have that opportunity in Afghanistan, women who may have been working or in university who will not be able to do so in Afghanistan. So it is really an unprecedented crisis. But I also want to point out that one of the reasons it's very difficult within the international community to put pressure on Pakistan in this regard is that other countries have also behaved just abysmally toward Afghan refugees. Many promises were made in Europe, in the US, to take in Afghans, particularly, of course, after the Taliban takeover. And we've seen really that those promises have not been met. I could point particularly to, say, Germany. At one point was saying they would be bringing in 1,000 Afghans a month. They've fallen so far short of that, and including many Afghans who are particularly at risk, journalists, human rights defenders, and the rest, who end up now, I know many, still stuck either in Afghanistan or in Pakistan in desperate circumstances and unable to find any safe pathways to resettlement elsewhere, despite all the promises by donor countries who supported all these efforts in Afghanistan over the last 22 years. So I'm going to keep it very short because I'm aware of the 5 minutes, but I would say that you have a complex humanitarian crisis now, both the abuses on the Pakistani border side, the failure of other countries to respond adequately, and of course the situation in Afghanistan with the Taliban repression, making many of these people coming to Afghanistan now, returnees and others, at risk. And also at risk because of a very dire economic situation. So it needs an urgent response that we're not yet seeing from countries, concerned countries who should be stepping up.